Hi, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Margie, and what I'm going to make for you today is a Dutch apple pie. These are Granny Smith apples. The first thing that I've done to prepare this pie is I've made the crust, which is in the refrigerator. I'm going to roll it out, but I'm going to put that part of this video at the very end of the video, so I'll put a timeline of where you should look for to start that part of the video. But this video is to show you how to make the apple pie part. I've done the crust so many times in so many videos, I think some people that just takes up a lot of time, but yet it's important, so I'm going to put it in at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to start to peel them and core them and slice the apples, and I'm going to make sure it calls for about 6 cups. This is 8 cups, so I'm going to almost about an inch below the top of this. I'm going to go ahead and fill that up. I don't use the lemon and water. Some people use lemon and water while they're doing this because they're afraid their apples are going to turn brown. But I don't see any brown, and I don't want to use a lemon, so the recipe doesn't even call for any lemon in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that, and I'm going to get ready to put the spices on the apples. So we've got our 6 cups of apples. And there's a seed. The proverbial seed to show that it's fresh apples. This is a 1/2 cup of sugar. The recipe calls for a little more than that, but I like to cut back on the sugar. 1/4 cup of flour. And in here is a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg here, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. That nutmeg is what really makes a big difference in this. So now I'm just going to take a spatula and just go ahead and start tossing. Some of the juices are going to come out of these apples. And the flour will start to absorb. I'll show you that before I pour it into the crust, because I have the oven set at 425. There you go, all the flour is all in there. Those apples are really good. Because you're putting the cream in here, you kind of want it to be well sealed on the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour these apples into the pie crust. Oh, there's the seed right there in the middle. The little seed. Can you see it right there in the middle? There it is right there. You always want to have one seed. This egg is going to be for an egg wash that I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to use the entire egg. Just give it a little flash of break it up. I'll brush that on the pie crust later. So let's just fold this over. Oh, and of course I did forget my little pieces of butter. I'll just use my fingers, it's so soft. Let's bring that up halfway over. There you go. Okay, so then you want to take the knife and just make little, but you want to make slits in the top, okay? But for this Dutch apple pie, sorry, French apple pie is with the crumb crust. This is a Dutch apple pie. Oh, there's the butter. Get back in there. So the slits need to be a little bit larger, that's all. And something I don't do when I make pie is I don't really squish. I don't do the, the pressing the fork down or doing the little pinching with your fingers, because I don't like to do that with my crust. I just gently, you could take a little off if you think there's too much there. I fold it down so it just gently goes inside of that edge. And any crust that you have left, you can roll out a few cookies if you like. I'm brushing the pie with a little bit of an egg wash. I put a little teeny bit of water, like maybe a teaspoon of water in here. I didn't show you that, but I put a little teaspoon of water into this egg, just to loosen it up a little more. But it'll give the pie a little bit of shine. And also I like to sprinkle a little bit of sugar, and you can either use regular sugar or you can use some cinnamon sugar. I just use regular sugar, and I don't dump it from the container. I'll just sprinkle it on this way because I don't want, otherwise you end up with too much. At least I do. Last but not least will be the aluminum foil cover. You just bring it around, overlap the end, and just fold this where it comes together, like overlap it and pinch a few times. Okay? And you can pull it out like that. Sometimes it's a little tricky. Now it goes into the oven for 40 minutes, because at 40 minutes I'm going to pour a half a cup of heavy cream into these little slits right toward the end of the pie baking process. Say goodbye to it. So I'm going to take the pie out of the oven. It's been between 35 and 45 minutes. So I'm going to take, I'm not even going to take that off. I'm just going to, it hasn't started, it's just beginning to boil. So I'm going to just pour this right into the holes, slowly, let it absorb. Just a half a cup of heavy cream. And now I'm going to put it back into the oven for about another 10 minutes or so. Let it start to boil or simmer. The bubbles come up. About 10 minutes more or so. It's been 5 minutes. I'm going to take this off. You just have to undo one side and take it off. Bring it, going to turn it. Let it cook the rest of the time. So it's time to take the pie out. See if you can see it bubbling. So now we're going to let that cool, and I'll slice it for you. So the pie is cooled, and I'm going to go ahead and slice a piece out of it. I don't have a pie taker outer, like a little pie spatula. I must have brought it somewhere. So let's hope we can take a nice piece of pie out. So of course we have to give it a try too. So we'll try it. See if it tastes different. Oh my goodness. The apples are cooked very nicely. They're a little bit bigger. Sometimes I slice them a little thinner for the regular pie that I make. And this is very good. It doesn't even need any ice cream or whipped cream. So thank you very much for joining me today to do this. I hope that you give it a try. Can't stop eating it. And this crust is also very good because it kind of tastes a little bit like a cookie because of the vanilla and the sugar. Okay, so I'll see you soon. Bye. What you just saw were the ingredients for a 2-crust pie, which is what the Dutch apple pie needs. Right here you see me putting ingredients together for a 1-crust pie. So don't pay attention so much to the ingredients that I'm using. Just pay attention to the technique. See all the little pieces of butter? That's been in there for a little longer than a half an hour, so we might have to wait a second. So I do this is out of the fridge a little longer. You can actually, sometimes what I do is I'll put the flour in a little strainer. When I make cookies, I always do that. And I use my stamps. Okay. Where is my... See how nice that is? If you